We're going to talk to Bill Bender, sportingnews.com, National College Football Analyst. Bill was in that room last night when that press conference was going on. Bill, I hope you're doing well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy day yesterday. And you know what, Ryan? A lot of questions still to be asked. That's what happens when you have a press conference and hand everybody the 23-page report card afterward.
Yeah, and there is a lot of questions. Let me ask you, because you've probably had a chance to read through those. What was maybe the takeaway after doing that, if you're able to digest some of that and chew on it for a few hours?
Well, I mean, obviously there are a lot of questions about Urban Meyer and was the suspension enough? And I know when you live in this Central Ohio bubble, there was an expectation on some level that he would be reinstated and not suspended. And now you see the expectation from a lot of national writers that that press conference was a flop and that Urban Meyer should be fired. I honestly don't know. I don't know if he should be fired. I do know there is a bunch of questions, and that last night was insensitive toward the issue of domestic violence. I think that's safe because, as I've said, you know, most people seem more concerned with Urban Meyer, whether he'll be on the sideline or not, over the issues that got him put here in the first place.
So we had the vibe outside and watching the television that there was a lot of guilt. There was a lot of guilt in that room. Was that the same vibe that you sort of felt inside that room?
Well, Gene Smith owned up to some things he did wrong, and I don't know how much longer Gene Smith's going to be the athletic director there, given that this is the second scandal involving a coach he's presided over. I don't know how many athletic directors survive two of those, no matter who they are. And then with Meyer, it just seemed, here's what they should have done. And I've talked to a couple of people about this. They should have had the press conference today. They should have gave everybody the report yesterday. Let us all make their judgments. Let us all come in prepared and ask them some real questions about the report. And I think had that been done, then this would have been a little bit better. But again, that's another misstep by Ohio State in this instance. It was a misstep by Urban Meyer at Big Ten Media Day. It was a misstep yesterday. I think the circus in between is indicative of more of our society today. I mean, I don't know if you can avoid that. But and yesterday in general, Ryan, it was a bizarre day to spend 12 hours there and then have a press conference at 9 p.m.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that is – listen, I've had to cover those when you're outside of the room or outside of the building and you're sitting there and you're trying to monitor it and you're looking for every clue. And it did seem odd, but I thought after we got to a point, which I was kind of shocked. I was driving home and I had it on a radio station and the kind of the thing kind of popped up and it was like, we're going to have a press conference tonight. I mean, it was kind of odd. Maybe that was their plan all along is to you would think not prime time, though. I mean, because it was right there. I mean, everybody was home in the recliner, and they just made the switch to the television screen.
Yeah, and a lot of the speculation was, and I look back, I remember when Hugh Freeze resigned, that broke around 8:30. Like, they had the press conference around 8:30 my time, so 7:30 Central Time. But, yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise that they had it that late. We were kind of all staked out on that loading dock waiting for Urban Meyer to somehow come out, and then everybody kind of sprinted toward this crowded alumni house, and what was really a bizarre scene there as well. So, I mean, it unfolded the way it did, but again, I think, you know, you leave with an expectation. I think they expected that this would be over, but this storyline is going to follow Ohio State into the season. It's going to follow Urban Meyer perhaps longer than that. I mean, I still think he probably should have been suspended, but now that I've seen the report, it would probably lean more toward perhaps he should have resigned or got fired, because I don't know how you think it is, Ryan, and I don't know how it is down there, but I just, to me, the sense is that the backlash is worse than it was when he was put on administrative leave.
Yeah, but I mean, Bill, I try to hide from this, but at the end of the day, I mean, I think we know why he was kept around. I mean, it's not about this domestic violence. It's about winning football games, even though it's hard for us to admit it because we want this sport to have integrity. You know, it's probably about a 73-8 record rather than, if this guy was, Mark Stoops from Kentucky over there, he loses his job. But Urban Meyer is 73-8, right?
Well, there's a handful of coaches that could get away with it, I think, and still have their job, and he's one. And, I had a friend ask me, would they really fire a coach that's never lost to Michigan? And, you joke around about it at the time, but you think about it, and obviously football definitely played a role. I mean, the fact that he is 73-8 there and has the 3 national titles between 2 stops. But, I mean, reputation-wise, this is one of those deals where feels a lot like it did when he was at Florida. Now not so much about the players, but the fact that he was letting this go with an assistant coach is going to follow him. I think history, somebody told me this today, so I don't want to steal Kevin Noon's line. He works for Buckeye Grove. He said this will probably follow Urban Meyer in terms of you won't remember the protocol part, but you'll remember all the things that Zach Smith did at Ohio State while he was coaching under Urban Meyer.
Bill, take the half-full approach. Can there anything good come from this? Not from Ohio State, but the rest of us looking in that mirror to make sure that we are doing things correctly?
Well, I think at the end of the day, you got to do the right thing. And, that's hard, and some people define that differently than others. But, they probably shouldn't have hired Zach Smith in the first place. They gave him too many chances. He probably, had Urban Meyer been more upfront at Big Ten Media Day, I still think this would be less of a story. But the cover-up always gets you. And, I don't know. That was the well-respected law firm that did this investigation. I get that. That helped with that at least. But it left a lot of questions. It really did. And, I mean, from a lawyer standpoint, that's fine. But, from some other standpoints, I mean, coaches get fired for winning and losing games all the time. Who's to say they shouldn't be fired for having things happen that have happened on this scope? Because I think the embarrassment to the university also has to be a factor.
Bill, I'm going to let you go because I know you got other interviews, and I don't want to run into anybody else's time with some other things that you've got lined up. And I know you've been a very, very busy reporter there with your boots on the ground there in Columbus, Ohio. The next time we talk, hopefully we're talking about the season, but also allowing this to stay in their back of our mind. We're, our role of media, and you got to credit some of these reporters that broke this story. Sometimes we have to kind of hold their feet to the fire, and I appreciate you jumping on for a couple of minutes. And next time we talk, hopefully it's a little positive note. I appreciate you coming on for a couple of minutes.
Well, yeah, like I told Marquise, I'd love to talk football with you guys sometime. But, in August it's been too much about the scandals. I am excited about next week, and maybe next week you and I can hit on some Alabama, Louisville, and a couple other things.
Yeah, because I'm looking at your stories. I mean, if folks want to go sportingnews.com, find the Bill Bender tab, and you'll find some great articles around the game that we love so much. And, Bill, I appreciate you, man. I know you got to run to the next interview, but I appreciate you being part of the show, sir.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. I'll talk to you soon.